Super empaths are highly regarded as the most powerful of all empath types because of their exceptional ability to neutralize the effects of narcissistic encounters. Their remarkable talent, called Empath Supernova, draws its name from the magnificent outbursts of energy generated by massive stars at the end of their life cycles, known as supernovas. Similar to a super empath who has been subjected to narcissistic abuse, the star's nuclear energy burns fiercely hot despite appearing depleted and lifeless. Although one can spot fissures, it merely indicates an impending explosion. If you desire to explore further about the empath supernova, which is the most devastating blow to a narcissist's ego, you can watch today's video and gain more insights. The first stage involves super empaths recognizing the patterns of abuse. Following exposure to narcissistic or other abusive behaviors like gaslighting, super empaths detect a pattern. With their elevated self-worth, they quickly recognize when they have reached their limits. After reflecting on how many times they had given in to the narcissist's destructive behavior, they start to see through the situation and realize the pattern. As a result, they become more cautious, examining every word for any sign of deception or devaluation. Their vigilance and skepticism increase, and when treated poorly, they become empowered and eventually explode. The second phase involves analyzing everything known about the narcissist to find a way to hurt them. As repeated abuse traumatizes the super empath, they start looking back on their past with the abuser, be it a parent, friend, or romantic partner. The super empath seeks out instances where the abuser was caught lying or vulnerable to certain critiques or proud of certain accomplishments, fearing that these weaknesses will be exploited. The super empath is uncertain of what they will do with this information, and initially, using it to hurt the narcissist may seem impossible. However, as discussed in the next section, their soft benevolence eventually disappears. The third phase entails the cessation of empathy, replaced by coldness and bitterness. As the super empath spends more time around the toxic narcissist, who absorbs their empathy for their own gain, they become cold and bitter. They no longer recoil at the thought of causing pain to someone they care for, but instead crave it. They become lifeless and unresponsive to their abuser's attempts at devaluation or manipulation. The narcissist may mistakenly believe that they have utterly destroyed the empath, turning them into another trophy for their collection. Nonetheless, a powerful empath will not let their passion fade away without a magnificent display. The empath's supernova explosion is on the horizon. The fourth stage is characterized by the super empath turning the tables on the narcissist by using their own tactics against them. The super empath begins to adopt the same behavior as the narcissist without the usual empathy that guides them. They might make fun of the narcissist's stained clothing or use gaslighting to convince them that their favorite TV show is terrible. As they experience the same rush of excitement that the narcissist has always enjoyed, their behavior becomes more severe. By employing the Hyoka empath's mirroring response to the narcissist's harmful actions, they can eventually break the cycle. They use their knowledge of the narcissist's weaknesses against them, igniting their supernova energy. They know precisely when and how to push the narcissist's buttons and use everything they've learned to their advantage. In the fifth stage, the super empath's confidence and sense of self-worth soar. As the super empath witnesses the narcissist's boundaries crumble under the strain of their mental acrobatics, the super empath's self-assurance and kinetic force explode. They were once just an empty shell with a single ember burning within them. But with each victory against the narcissist, their confidence grows stronger. The super empath gets a boost of energy. They view this as a second chance to achieve karmic justice. Each mental victory provides a catharsis that only serves to fuel the empath further. The super empath begins to recall who they were before meeting the narcissist. They remember their interests, values, and principles rather than those of their tormentor. An opportunity to start anew, free from the draining effects of pleasing a narcissist, presents itself. Previously, they were afraid to move on without the narcissist because they were so reliant on them, whether as a parent or in a romantic relationship. However, what's even more terrifying is what comes next, the final narcissistic outburst. Although it's terrible to harm someone you once loved or still love deeply, super empaths realize it's the only way to survive. Once a picture of a promising future appears in a super empath's mind, they have no choice but to pursue it. Stage 6. The super empath remains in their supernova phase until the ultimate narcissistic rage, at which point they stop providing any validation to the narcissist and become brutally honest. The super empath is now harsh. Similar to the narcissist they mirror, the once innocent and lovely empath has transformed into a hardened, cynical, and unpleasant version of themselves. There is no more flattery, only the unfiltered truth of the super empath's deep-seated resentment. At some point, the narcissist will begin their final rage without realizing that it will be their last. They are confident in their ability to counter the empath's supernova. However, in the end, the super empath will reveal their true, empowered selves. Since the empath's newfound confidence is authentic, it will fortify their defenses to the point where they will be even more resilient than the narcissist. The narcissist will unleash their most vicious insults in tone on the super empath, hoping to force them back into their former self. But the super empath shows no sign of movement or distress. They are aware of the narcissist's deepest thoughts and know that the insults have no effect on them. At this point, the super empath's greatest advantage over the narcissist is that they don't hold their ego in high regard. They have a quiet confidence about them. Despite the gaslighting they experienced at the hands of the narcissist, they remember the person they once were and are secure in their own morality. The narcissist's failure to elicit a reaction from the super empath is surprising. When the supernova is prepared for its final act, the empath will detonate like a bomb. The vulnerabilities of the narcissist are exploited to the fullest, and their fears are reflected back to them. The narcissist may try to mount a defense, but the super empath has been in the supernova phase for so long that they have gathered evidence against every possible defense mechanism. When the narcissist's defenses are depleted, the super empath takes over. The narcissist's ego can no longer handle honest criticism, and every reproach feels like venom coursing through their veins. Narcissists are terrified of the super empath when they are confronted with their own reflection for the first time. They realize that the empath has learned all their tricks and, coupled with their own unbreakable willpower and pride, has become unstoppable. The roles have been reversed, and now the narcissist is the one begging for mercy and claiming they are willing to change. However, the empath has heard it all before and delivers the final blow of rejection, which is necessary to bring the narcissist down. Once the narcissist has been exposed and broken down by the empath, they typically flee, leaving the empath in peace. At stage 7, the super empath may worry that their empathic abilities will be permanently damaged after annihilating the narcissist. The fear is that any residual narcissistic tendencies may linger, and this is a terrifying thought. A frigid bitterness lingers in their body, and the warmth they once felt has not returned. They become more cynical and snarky when talking to their friends, and they may even find themselves being manipulative. This feeling is commonly referred to as narcissistic fleas. When a person is subjected to abuse over a long period of time, they begin to take on the characteristics of their abuser. This is necessary to execute the empathic supernova, so it stands to reason that they may have difficulty recovering afterward. If you or someone you know has experienced abuse and is struggling to feel like their old selves again, we highly recommend seeking the help of a therapist. Narcissistic abuse is particularly harmful because it can have lasting effects on a person if they are not equipped to handle it. Stage 8. They develop and become stronger as a result of their experience. Only after seeking professional help or the support of loved ones and leaving the situation behind will the super empath begin to feel like themselves again. Although they must accept that they will never be the same person they were before the abuse, they can still learn to appreciate their former self. Personality changes can occur after experiencing abuse, and feelings of cynicism are actually a sign of their strength, not a lack of empathy. After defeating the narcissist, They feel they have gained wisdom, confidence, competence, and the certainty that they will never again let another narcissist penetrate their defenses. We hope this brief explanation has been helpful to you. If you have any feedback, please share it in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on our content about empaths. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.
So everyone, have you ever heard of the term super empath? Super empaths are not your average empaths. While all empaths have the unique ability to feel and absorb the emotions of those around them, super empaths are on another level entirely. They have an exceptional talent called Empath Supernova, which allows them to neutralize the effects of narcissistic encounters. Their incredible ability draws its name from the massive stars at the end of their life cycles that generate magnificent outbursts of energy known as supernovas. Similar to a super empath who has been subjected to narcissistic abuse, the star's nuclear energy burns fiercely hot despite appearing depleted and fireless. So what makes super empaths so powerful? Let's dive into the stages that make up the empath supernova. The first stage involves super empaths recognizing the patterns of abuse. They detect a pattern following exposure to narcissistic or other abusive behaviors like gaslighting. With their elevated self-worth, they quickly recognize when they have reached their limits. After reflecting on how many times they had given into the narcissist's destructive behavior, they start to see through the situation and realize the pattern. As the super empath becomes more cautious, examining every word for any sign of deception or devaluation, their vigilance and skepticism increase. When treated poorly, they become empowered and eventually explode. The second phase involves analyzing everything known about the narcissist to find a way to hurt them. The super empath seeks out instances where the abuser was caught lying or vulnerable to certain critics or proud of certain accomplishments, fearing that these weaknesses will be exploited. The third phase entails the cessation of empathy, replaced by coldness and bitterness. As they spend more time around the toxic narcissist who absorbs their empathy for their own gain, they become cold and bitter. They no longer recoil at the thought of causing pain to someone they care for, but instead crave it. They become lifeless and unresponsive to their abuser's attempts at devaluation or manipulation. The fourth stage is characterized by the super empath turning the tables on the narcissist, using their own tactics against them. They might make fun of the narcissist's stained clothing or use gaslighting to convince them that their favorite TV show is terrible. By employing the Heyoka empath's mirroring response to the narcissist's harmful actions, they can eventually break the cycle. In the fifth stage, the super empath's confidence and sense of self-worth soar. Its mental victory provides a catharsis that only serves to fuel the empath further. The super empath begins to recall who they were before meeting the narcissist, an opportunity to start anew, free from the draining effects of pleasing a narcissist presents itself. At stage 6, the super empath stops providing any validation to the narcissist and becomes brutally honest. They are aware of the narcissist's deepest thoughts and know that the insults have no effect on them. When the supernova is prepared for its final act, the empath will detonate like a bomb. Throughout these stages, the super empath experiences a mix of emotions and challenges, including fear, cynicism, and even the risk of becoming a narcissist themselves. It's a complicated journey, but it's one that leaves them stronger and more resilient than ever before. If you or someone you know has experienced abuse and is struggling to feel like their old selves again, we highly recommend seeking the help of a therapist. And if you are a super empath yourself, remember that you have an incredible ability to heal and become even stronger than you were before. Thanks for hanging out with me today, friend. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share your thoughts in the comments below. I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day.